Oh, hey, how you doing? Tim Reed here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for viewing the video. Welcome to Imagine That, my summer library program for 2020. Now, normally we would present this program live right in your library. I get to travel around the Midwest, all over libraries, all over the states, and I get to present this program to families just like you. But unfortunately, the conditions that we're under right now, with everybody being home, I've decided to pre-record the videos so that you can look at it at your convenience. So welcome to Imagine That, Summer Library Program for 2020. I want to thank the Ames Public Library for sponsoring this video today. They have been very generous to me over the years, and I want to say thank you so much. So thanks, Ames Public Library. You know, as a children's illustrator, I get to use my imagination every day. In fact, it's pretty important that I use my imagination every day in all that I do, because the work that I do needs to be very creative, and that takes a lot of imagination. Back in 2012, I came up with a line of kids books called My Very Silly Monster. And these are fun educational books for kids that teach you things about ABCs and counting and opposites and colors, shapes. I even have a couple of sketchbooks out there. It's kind of fun. So these books take a lot of work to create and to make all of the silly monsters that are in the books. Every one of them has to be unique and different. And so that takes a lot of imagination. So one of my most popular books is My Very Silly Monster Book of Shapes. Now this book is chock full of fun, creative monsters that are made out of shapes. And they teach you all about the things that you see in everyday life that are made up of shapes. And so today, I want to kind of explore how the imagination is affected by things like shapes. For instance, here's Rhonda and her rhombus. Most of us know this shape as a diamond. But you can see that rhombus can be found just about anywhere if you look hard enough. Here we see it on a sweater, we see it on a road sign, and we even see it on a stained glass window. Now let's explore some other shapes that use our imagination to try to see them just a little bit differently. So what if, for instance, I draw a circle? What do you think of when I draw a circle? What do you see there? Well, I can see a lot of different things, but maybe some of you actually get to see maybe you see a ball. Did you see a ball? Maybe you do. But also, what if I drew another circle like this? Now, if I add a few squiggly lines and use my imagination, that circle can turn into a cool planet, right? Now, if I add another circle like this, and what if I add a border just inside of that circle, and maybe some small circles inside of that? Now what do you see? Well, if you're hungry, you probably see a pepperoni pizza, one of my favorites. That slice is for me, by the way. So, you know, it's funny because all you gotta do is draw a circle or draw a shape and take a really good look at it, and you'll be surprised about the things you come up with. Now, what happens if I draw this? Take those same circles, those three circles, and what happens if I stack them up like this? One on top, another one here, and another one here. Now what do you see? Well, some of you probably see this. snowman. That's what I saw. But if we take those same shapes and we add the fourth shape, an upside down triangle, now what does that become? An ice cream cone, right? Probably just as cold, but a lot more yummy. So what if I draw a shape like this? Tell me what you think of. Now, what I drew there was an octagon. So when you see an 8-sided shape, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8-sided shape, octagon, what do you normally think of? Well, most of you probably think of this. A stop sign, right? Well, that's pretty common because we see that shape in everyday life and we see it a lot. Now, what if I took that same shape and applied some creativity and my powerful imagination and did this to it? Now suddenly we have a fun monster made out of an octagon. Pretty easy, right? Now, we could use our imagination to do anything with shapes if we really want to. For instance, what if I added some shapes down here, and let's see what happens. Now, let's go and do a triangle floating out there, just like this. And maybe a circle over here. Okay, now we're going to draw, maybe I'll draw a square right here, and what do you think, maybe a trapezoid? Right here, and then maybe I'll just draw a star shape right here. And maybe a crescent shape right here. So you can see there's just a bunch of random shapes on the page, right? But when I start to add a few more shapes, watch what happens. See, I want to do a rectangle right here. Then maybe I'll add a circle in here. And then maybe I'll do another trapezoid upside down on top of this one. It has some lines in here, just like this. And then I'm just going to do, maybe I'll do a parallelogram. That's the one we haven't talked about. On either side. So you kind of see what's happening here? Add some bolts here, just like this. Maybe we'll add a flag on here. Some more details, maybe some stars throughout the sky. Maybe giant plant over here. Boom, now you're in outer space. And that was pretty easy because all we did was that we lined up a bunch of shapes next to each other. So that's pretty easy stuff, right? You know, one of my favorite books is by an author named Antoinette Portis. It's called It's Not a Box. And this book teaches us all about using our imagination to look at things a little bit differently. Because a boring shape like a square or a rectangle could turn into something amazing. It all depends on how you look at it when you use your imagination. For instance, I want to kind of explore that a little bit by drawing some shapes here. And then we're going to use our imagination to look at them just a little bit differently and see what we can come up with. Kind of like we did with the rocket ship. All right, let's try this again. All right, so for instance, what is probably the most common shape that you see when you go to your library? I bet it's something like this. I bet it's a rectangle. And here's why. Everywhere you look, you're seeing all kinds of squares and rectangles. And what are they? That's right. A lot of times you'll see this shape in a book. Now, what would that book be called, right? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. So if we take a look at some other shapes and we put them all together, and we put them in a bag and we shake them all up and we spill them on the table, you never know what you're going to end up with. Maybe you'll end up with something like this. Trapezoid upside down. Maybe a circle here and a circle here, okay? And then maybe a rectangle below it, something like that. And then we'll do an oval right there, okay? And then we're going to do just two lines coming down here and a curved line. And then we're going to do another square here with some lines in the middle, something like that, okay? And now we're going to do some arms on. And what we're ending up with is actually a robot, right? So we're going to draw some eyes here. Add some details, some claws. And maybe some legs. In the middle for the controls. And with a few shapes, we end up with a really cool robot. Again, something I know you can probably do at home. So you see, when we use your imagination with something simple as shapes, it can turn into something really, really cool. So sometime today, I want you to take out a sheet of paper, some markers, some crayons, pencils, and I want you to explore shapes and use your imagination to turn them into something cool. I bet you're going to find that you can probably come up with some really neat things. So with that said, I want to draw one more thing for you using shapes. So we did it a little bit earlier. This is kind of how I use shapes when I draw my monsters. So we're going to start with circle in the middle. And then maybe we'll do an ellipse right here. And then I'll do a mouth, big circle in the middle. Okay, maybe a tuft of hair on top. A couple of legs. And then I'm going to do some triangles on the outside. All right, pretty cool monster so far. Now let's do another shape right here. The monster's got himself a book, right? And then, cool monster, put his arm up like that because he's waving goodbye. I want to say thank you for tuning into this video today. It's been a lot of fun presenting to you. I hope to have some more videos coming to you very, very soon, so keep an eye out for that. Again, thank you so much for the Ames Public Library for sponsoring this video today. Wish I could be there in person at your library, but this is kind of the conditions we're under right now. So bear with us and stay healthy, stay happy, and stay creative, and use your imagination. So thank you so much. This is Tim Reed with My Very Silly Monster.